in the south by Florida, one all the way out in California, one out in Oregon, right, one in Ohio. So the carpenter and his wife, they wanted to go and see the kids, especially when grandkids started to come. So they had a discussion and they said, look, as much as we love living here and as much as we would love to stay here, we can't afford to have our house here and travel all over the country to see our kids. So they decided they were going to sell their house, they were going to buy an RV, and they would travel around the country from kid to kid, and that's how they were going to live their lives. So he went to the contractor, and he said, hey, I can't thank you enough for everything you've done for me and for our family. He said, but it's time. My wife and I, as much as we would love to stay here, we can't afford to do both. We want to get an RV, we want to travel around the country, we want to see our kids. The contractor hugged him, and he said, you've been so good to me. You've been such a great employee, almost like family. He said, before you go, could you do me one more favor and build me one more house? Well, the carpenter couldn't say no, right? This guy had been so good to him. But his mind was already out in Washington or Oregon or California or where his kids were. So when he started to do the job, he just got whatever materials were available. He didn't worry about what kind of quality they were. As he was doing the job, he rushed through. He didn't give it his best attention. If something wasn't exactly right, as long as it was good enough, it was good. And he rushed his way through the house. When he got finished, he called his wife and he said, hey, I'm going to call the contractor. He's going to come and inspect the house and we can get on the road. So he called the contractor. Contractor comes in the house. He gives him a big hug. He's got tears in his eyes. And he said, you've been so good to me. You've been so good to my company. Your family's been so good to me. And he reached in his pocket and he pulled out a set of keys. I know you want to stay in this area. This house that you just built, this is my gift to you. Well, what a shock and what a shame. If he had known he was building his own house, he would have done it so much differently. He wouldn't have cut corners. He wouldn't have rushed through. He would have paid attention. He would have focused. He would have given his best effort. So many of us, that's how we build our lives. You only get one. You only get one life. You get one shot at it. And so many of us rush through. We always accept less than our best effort. Everything, if it's okay, it's okay. And we don't worry about that. And then pretty soon we look at the own house that we had built. And with shock and shame, how do we get there? Well, who you are right now sitting in this room, the person that you are sitting in this room, is a direct result of the decisions and choices that you've made in your lifetime. Who you're going to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 40 years from now, same thing. It's a direct result of the choices and decisions that you make. Each one of you can choose to work hard. Each one of you can choose to be accountable. Each one of you can choose to have a positive attitude. Each one of you can choose to get to know people before you judge them. Each one of you can choose to embrace failure. And if you do that, then you're going to be thinking like a successful person, and your chances of achieving that are going to be that much greater. On the contrary, if you choose to not be the victim, right, you allow yourself to be the victim. You allow yourself to feel sorry for yourself. You blame other people. You incorporate a bad attitude. You don't work hard. Right? When you fail, you just give up. Then you set yourself up for disaster. All choices that you make. I know it's a long time listening. Thank you very much. Okay, the last few minutes are yours. I appreciate your cooperation. If you have to go to the bathroom, go ahead.